What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I'd like to talk about draft prospect Nick Emmanwori. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content or NFL content. If you'd like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here on the channel as well. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So as I mentioned in today's video, I do want to talk about draft prospect Nick Emmanwori, and shout out to Fam, who is one of the subscribers here on my channel. He actually asked me to do a video on this draft prospect, and when I took a look at his tape, I was really impressed with Nick Emmanwori. Nick Emmanwori played his college ball at South Carolina University. He's a strong safety. He goes about 6'3", 230 pounds. And he is one of those guys that I think the Falcons should strongly consider drafting with our first round pick. Nick Emmanwori reminds me of the year that we drafted Keanu Neal out of Florida University. When Keanu Neal came to our Atlanta Falcons back in 2016, he hit the ground running and was one of those guys that was an immediate starter and helped our Atlanta Falcons defense make the Super Bowl in 2016. And I feel like Nick Emmanwori is one of those guys that can have that same impact on this Atlanta Falcons team. Being that we have Jesse Bates on this roster and Justin Simmons, who's going to be a free agent, I really feel like we're going to have a gap at that strong safety role. I'm not too sure if the Falcons are going to look to bring back Justin Simmons, but I really feel like Nick Emmanwori is one of those guys who could be an immediate impact starter for this Atlanta Falcons team. He's a ball hawk. He had about 4 interceptions last year out South Carolina, 88 tackles and 3 tackles for loss. But he is one of those guys that was the captain of that South Carolina defense. And when you go and check out his highlights or his film, he's one of those guys that flies around the field, similar to a Jesse Bates. He's all over the field making plays. A guy you can play at hybrid linebacker at times, but he's one of those guys that's a playmaker. And I really feel like the Atlanta Falcons defense needs more playmakers outside of Jesse Bates. And Nick Emmanwori, I think, would be that guy for the Atlanta Falcons. If you want another guy opposite of Jesse Bates that still can turn the ball over, can force fumbles, can get interceptions. He also is one of those guys, if you check out his highlights, when he did intercept the ball, he took it to the house. I believe last year he had 2 or 3 pick sixes after intercepting the ball. So he's not only one of those guys that can take the ball away, but he's looking to score touchdowns when he gets his hand on the football. So I really feel like the Atlanta Falcons should strongly consider drafting him. He's a really good tackler in space. And we know in today's NFL, with a lot of the short, quick passes and a lot of these quick athletes catching bubble screens and things of that nature out in space, a lot of these tight ends that are really hybrid wide receivers, Nick Emmanwori is one of those guys that he can match up man-to-man and handle his business, similar to a Derwin James. I really feel like he has that type of capability because of his athleticism, because of his explosiveness as an athlete, and because he's just a dog. When you take a look at his tape, you're going to see what I'm talking about. This dude is just a dog. Immediately when I started watching his highlights, I could see him having the same type of impact that Keanu Neal had on that 2016 team where he came in. He was a guy that was the enforcer, forced turnovers. Guys were scared to run across the middle of the field because they knew that Keanu Neal was going to lay the boom. And that's the type of player that Nick Emmanwori is. Now, I do think that he's a lot more better as far as in coverage than a Keanu Neal. Keanu Neal wasn't one of those guys that was great in coverage. He was more of a hitman, meaning he would lay the boom on guys. But Nick Emmanwori, he's a hybrid, meaning he can do a lot of different things. And that's why I mentioned Derwin James. That's who he puts me in the mind of, the all-pro safety for the LA Chargers. So with that being said, you guys give me your thoughts. If you have a draft prospect that you would like me to do a video on and take a look at, please drop it in the comment section. Drop it on Twitter and at me. I definitely will be happy to do a profile, draft prospect profile on each player that you may have. But he's definitely one of those guys that I think the Falcons may draft in this upcoming 2025 draft. So with that being said, this being your boy Jew. I have a lot more content coming for you guys. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up, be blessed, peace.